right. Okay, we are live. And okay. Okay, hi to the people out there. I see someone has joined. And okay. Hi, beautiful people. How are you? I see that there are 8 of you here already. So hello, say hi to me as you come in. Let me know how your week went. I look forward to this time that I get to spend with you all, and I have been looking forward to seeing you all week. So please say hello to your DJ. I'm so excited to see all of you. Ooh, I see some familiar faces. I see Linda. She says hello. Hi, Linda. Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Oh, I see the nice makeup. Okay, Kimberly. Dominic. Hi, beautiful. Hi, Dominic. Dominic, actually, I really want you to come on the panel at some point because you were the one who brought me such an important story, and I feel like I need to hear from you about that. AGA Tours says, healthy, joyful greetings, sis. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Very well and grateful. Wait, let me get some of you on the screen. There's Linda, Kimberly, Dominic, AGA Tours. Steve says, salut, ça va? Comment ça va? Oh, you're looking great, sis. Thank you. Girls had to do a little something. Oxtony GH Native, hi. I believe I've seen you in my comments. So thank you for your very nice compliments, Oxtony. Okay, so we are just 1 minute to getting started. Our guest is already here, so it's going to be an awesome time. Let me add him to the stream. Eric?
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Awesome. So can you go ahead and turn your camera on, please? We can't see you.
See. Okay. I think I can't see myself either. So let me see.
Okay.
I should be able to, yeah, because I've done this on Facebook. I've never done this on YouTube. So
yeah, you'll just need to enable video.
And that should be.
For everyone out there, this is Eric, and he is from Tanzania. And tonight he's just going to be chatting with us about his perspective on some of the criticism that Tanzania has received as of late. This isn't an interview, so I'm not going to be grilling him. This isn't interview DJ. This is just us having a discussion. This channel is about educating both Africans on the continent and Black Americans and Black people really in the diaspora as a whole about one another. So it's a learning experience. So we're here to learn. We're not going to grill Eric, but he's going to share his perspective. I see some beautiful folks joining. Lamont J is in the house. Lamine says, greetings from the Gambia. Greetings to Gambia. Robin says hi, and Stacy says you look gorgeous. Stacy, thank you so much. I need to give a special shout out to Stacy. She has been really just absolutely crushing it in terms of running my social media. And I'm so thankful for you. You are amazing. If you have any links that you want to drop, definitely do so, Stacy. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And Paul says hello from the UK. Okay, so our guest is going to be coming back. He is trying to get his devices all connected. So while we're waiting for him to get connected, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So I want to just go ahead and introduce myself. I'm DJ, and I run this channel, and this channel is all about educating Black people here in the West and abroad about one another. So I do have a couple of things I want to share. Number one, my Cash App is Sherry DJ, and you can see it right there on the screen. And if you would ever like to send something via Cash App, please definitely feel encouraged to do so. As you all know, super chats are very appreciated, but YouTube does take a hefty percentage. So if you'd ever like to send something directly via Cash App, it is greatly appreciated. The next thing that I want to share is the official email for the channel. It's add_tv@outlook.com. If you ever want to submit a story or you have an interview that you would like to share, an idea, definitely feel free to send that my way. I'm also going to start something where I'm going to be taking a question of the week. So if you've ever had a question, like you're African and you're like, oh my gosh, I've always wondered about Black Americans and why they do this. Or if you're Black American and you've always wondered, like, wow, I would love to know more about Africa. I've always wondered why they do that. Or if you just want me to speak on a particular topic, definitely feel free to hit me up at the email that's on the screen and we can take it from there. I do ask that you send at least a $10 donation because it does take time to put these together, but we can definitely make that happen. And last but not least, this is the PayPal. Many people have asked me, what is your PayPal? This is the official PayPal of the channel. So if you ever just want to share support in any way, definitely it's add_give@outlook.com. And of course, ADD stands for African Diaspora Digest. So that's the housekeeping. And with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So this is my favorite thing, and I want to bring it out for you all tonight. This is a globe of the world, and I always like to keep this globe in my house because it reminds me that I am just one person in a world full of other people, and that means I always have more to learn. And so I often will just spin it because I love traveling so much. So tonight I'm going to spin it with you all so that you can know where we're going tonight. And we are going to Tanzania. So if you're excited to be learning about Tanzania tonight, drop a TZ in the chat for me. And I'm going to show you where Tanzania is on the globe. So right here is North America, and we're going to go all the way to Africa. And so when we get to Africa, you start in the west and you make your way to the east. Tanzania is in East Africa, and we see we have Ethiopia, we have Kenya, and right there, right in this little outline, we have Tanzania. So that's where we're going to be learning and headed tonight. So let me go ahead and get my guest ready. He's still having some technical difficulties, so let me check. But if you are excited about the show tonight, let me know in the chat. Hello, Eric.
Hey, I'm still having problem with my camera. I don't know. I even had to open an account with StreamYard because I never had one. I thought that was a problem. I opened an account with them. They sent me a confirmation code on the email. I did that, all that, and I restarted again. I still cannot come in. It does not the camera does not come in automatically, like it doesn't Zoom and Facebook Live. So
That's really odd because like people join the panels all the time via
all the
camera.
time.
So it is something that's important because we did agree that you would be showing your face,
Yes,
and I do
and,
think
and
it's important.
I want that. So over here below me, I see the mute button. The mic, I tested the mic, it works, and I see stop come. When I click this, let me go on the settings first here, very quick. Camera. Oh, okay. Let me see. Try this. Okay, perfect.
Ah, there you are. There you are. Hi.
Finally.
How are
Uh,
you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. So, this is our guest. He is joining us this evening. He is a Tanzanian man, and he saw the video from the Black American couple, the Dickinson Adventures. Shout out to the Dickinson Adventures. And he wanted to respond to some of the criticisms in the video. Now, I should be clear that he is a fan of the Dickinsons. He shared with me that he is subscribed to them. He watches their videos. So this is in no way a beef with them, but he just wanted to share some additional insight from the perspective of a Tanzanian. So before we allow him to introduce himself, I first want to share a little bit of information with you all about Tanzania. And I'm taking this from Wikipedia because I want to make sure that we all get a little bit more knowledge tonight. Does that sound good, Eric?
Oh yes, that would be nice.
Okay, awesome. So Tanzania, it is officially called the United Republic of Tanzania, and the Swahili is Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. It is a country in East Africa within the Great Lakes region. It borders Uganda to the north and Kenya to the northeast. And actually, Africa's highest mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro, is in northeastern Tanzania. So there's lots to be proud of there. And in terms of the etymology, so the name Tanzania was created as a clipped compound of the names of the two states that united to create the country, Tanganyika and Zanzibar. The name Tanganyika is derived from the Swahili word for tanga, which is sail, and Nyika, which is uninhibited plain. So it literally means sailing in the wilderness. The name of Zanzibar comes from Zanji, the name for a local people said to mean black, and the Arabic word bar, which means coast or shore. Wow. Eric, do you mind telling us your ethnic group or your tribe? And do you mind saying hello to the people in your native tongue?
Hi, Mambo VP.
That's awesome. And what tribe are you from? Do you mind telling us a little bit about?
Yes, I'm from the Kinga tribe, which is located in Iringa region. And the history background with the colonialism, we were wiped out, a lot of us. So we're among the smallest tribe remaining right now. That's a story for later on in the future. And we are so proud because we are among the humble tribes. And our great grandfathers, our ancestors did not have no army. So we did not believe in war. All we believe is just go farm, come back, eat, dance on the weekends if there was weekends, but the rest day was filled with dance and songs and storytelling. Because those days, remember, before we Africans started the knowledge of writings, everything, the story of our great great grandfathers and everything was passed on to newer generations through stories, songs, and recitations. Like there's heroic there's recitations and just recitation that people, heroic is the warriors recites, just like what you see the old school hip hop. And that's when I think of hip hop, I think of that because these were really great poets talking about themselves, how great they are, what good things either they've done, either protecting ourselves from animals and hunting and all that, which men kill the biggest animal and all that. So all of that could be delivered through poets and poem, and that was transferred from one generation to another for us to can keep the history. So other than the drawings that you find in the caves and all of that, but the major, because drawings you really have to understand the language, but the major really transfer of history was through generation to generation storytelling and around files.
Okay. Wow. So, to the audience, Eric is sharing with us the griot tradition or the oral tradition, meaning that there is a lot about the various cultures on the continent, in this case, Tanzania, that you may never read in a book. So, I think one of the first things that I would love to share with the diaspora is that the book knowledge is okay, but it's not going to give you the whole story because much of history in Africa is passed down orally. So I know we have a lot of folks who've done a lot of a study of scholastics and books, and they'll say, well, I read this book and I read that book. But if you haven't actually listened to the oral traditions, you may not really know where they're coming from. So I think that was a powerful point to start with. So, Eric, let's go ahead and jump in. First, in terms of responding to the Dickinsons, what compelled you to say that you want to respond to the Dickinsons, and what specifically is it that you want to say?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you because I know I pushed you on this. You didn't even know who I am. You didn't even, so maybe those are one of those scholars, bugging me just because I told the story. But I'm very thankful that it came to a point you believed in my point of view and you gave me a chance. We talked for you to believe, oh, this guy got a point. Let me put him on. So I appreciate you on that. So I had actually to start. I had to start with my excitement first of all reports and experts who are already in Tanzania. Tanzania, we never had, actually not only Tanzania, East Africa, we never had a good luck of having our blacks, brothers and sisters from West coming to East. Most of them, they were always going to the West, feeling, we're from Nigeria, we're from West Africa and all that. So I never worried about that much, even though it took me a while to say, I have to go meet the culture there because it's not going to come to us. That's how I ended up in the United States. But 2 months, actually 2 or 3 months now from now, it's when the link came and the link popped up on my YouTube streaming of migrate to Tanzania. And I watched that one and I realized there's a lot of people right now going to Tanzania. I was so excited. I was so excited to say, wow. So I started following them and seeing their stories, the pros and cons to go to Tanzania. Most of them are so educational. And most of them, what they're saying is real. Is real. Is there poverty there? Yeah. Is there some people are living a good life? Yes, but most of the things that were put into minds of the Western is poverty and hard life, which is some true, some is not. So I kept watching the videos of the reparts who are already in motion and who's been there already leading others, telling them what to be ready for, like pros and cons, like when you come to Tanzania, this and that, this is the good, this is the bad. And some of them find good is more than cons, the bad, they stay. And some of them really they keep on going. They look and say, oh, this is good, but this is not what I'm looking for. So there's both negative and positive, just like everywhere else. But when I watched the Dinkinson, this was different. This was completely different, and I thought it kind of went out of the line. And I did not really hate them, and I still don't. It's just because the knowledge that people have here, even in the UK, who never been to Africa, who depend their news on Discovery Channel and all of that, they will always get those diseases. Um, how do they call this? People dying, poverty, and just people living in mud houses, animals. Like even some of the questions that were asked when I got here was, "Who did you leave your giraffe with?" That's the image that people have. Like we live with hyenas and mingling, like you know. So I said maybe it's one of those people who really never been out of the box. Like say, hey, let me YouTube this because this day you can YouTube and see the difference of all African countries, the bad and the good.
Okay, so Eric, okay,
Yeah.
so let's drill into the specifics, right?
Okay.
Because our audience is here to
Yeah.
hear
Here
your
we go.
response. Excuse me, Eric, excuse
Yes.
me. So we want to be mindful that the audience is here to learn about what it is that you wanted to say. And so what is it specifically that you wanted to respond to that the Dickinson shared?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the power of interrupting me. I'm gonna mention these 10 things I wrote down that I'm gonna try to go very quick through them. At any time, if I get emotional, because Tanzania is my country, of course, I'm gonna get, trying to show people that it's not that bad. I started with things that I see people in them too. They talk about dress code, pickpockets, price change to foreigners. Tanzanians stare. Yes, we do stare. And violence towards women, they mentioned that. Politics, trip preparation, that we might skip because most of people they can get the information there if we run out of time. But Tanzanian culture and black on black crimes. I like us to talk about so that when you go to Africa, you don't expect that just because you're black, criminals are gonna separate you from others. They're gonna see the opportunity, they're gonna take it. And we'll go to that. So I'd like to start with the dress code very quick, and I'm gonna just pass through it. All right. The first, when it comes to dress code in Tanzania, there is night and day that we will see on a lifestyle. In the daytime, women really do not wear skirts, shorts above their knee, too high above their knee. That's in the daytime because people try to respect their children and make sure they don't give a bad impression to their children. And then at night, it's a nightlife like everywhere else. Our clubs over there, it's like until the suns come up. And when you work at night, it's like a different country. That's just to make it in short. So for people who just walk in the daytime, and it's not like you can go to jail for that. It's not by law that, hey, if you cannot wear short dress, it's a culture. People are gonna police you. Like, hey, sister, hey, some people have even been given extra clothes. Hey, don't do that around here. This is a market or things like that. And then pickpockets, I think, are everywhere. That people, when come to Tanzania, it's the first country they come from America. They don't expect that because the thieves in America, maybe they will rob you at the gunpoint or anything. There's no guns in Tanzania, but people will sneak up on you, either take advantage of you or get too close, get something out of your pocket. That's just like everywhere else. So they are there. If somebody complain about that, that is true. It's not as much because if you scream a thief, really the people who's going to rescue is the people around you. We don't depend on cops on people who are stealing. When it comes to price changes to foreigners, when you come to Africa, believe me, there is people. First, I can even give you myself a very good example. I can seem like I speak a very good English. Maybe I met a lot of other Africans in other country, but the first time I met African American, I was 27. So you can imagine everybody I see African American through movies and music videos and all of that. So that we see the good and the bad, but most of the time because America is promoting the good thing, most of the time is we see African American rolling with Bentleys and all that. So we think like the majority are doing really good. So when you come to Africa, once they know you're not a Tanzanian, I think it happens in every other country in Africa or India or wherever. It doesn't matter about race. You came from a place where economy is good. So we'll try to get that profit. It's not the bad intention, like, because he's another black guy, let's do that. It's not even there. It's just a crime of opportunity. That's what they do. So in the Dinkelson, I see that who's complaining, like, we are one and they did this. There's something else no more than pickpocket. I want to explain that we are all everything that is happening in Tanzania that is bad, you can find it everywhere else. The stare. So African stare started a long time ago. It started a long time ago, and I can even say this: what you hear in New York, when you see something, say something. Tanzania has been there since the 70s, when we had war with Uganda to take off Idi Amin. I don't know if anybody, we're not going to talk the story, but Idi Amin sent up his people on foot in Tanzania. And we were kind of taught whenever you see a stranger, make sure you can look deep in their eyes and know this is friendly or an enemy. So that's that. We know we don't have enemies, but that's a way of trying to know you. Like, hey,
Mhm.
most of the time, if that happens, it can irritate you. Just
Mhm.
wave, and you'll see the changes. Just that one wave, you'll see a big smile, like, oh, this person, we are safe with him. They start
Mhm.
to you.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
reaction of say, oh, why? That is not gonna look good. And
Okay, so let me stop you a little bit just to
yeah,
make sure that we're understanding. So,
mm,
the first thing that you mentioned was that when women are out and about in the
mhm.
daytime, they don't generally wear shorts and skirts. Is
And
that right?
short skirts above their knees, yes.
Okay. So, one thing that's important to understand when you're traveling to a country like Tanzania is that it's very important for the women to be modest. So, if you do wear shorter skirts or short shorts, you're going to stand out. Is that fair to say, Eric? Like, if a woman is walking around in a short skirt or her romper, she's going to attract a lot of attention and maybe not positive. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, being positive, I don't know. I don't think they judge that as a part of your character, but people worry about the youth. What are they getting from that? I
Mm,
don't think they're gonna judge you that you're not gonna get a job because they saw you yesterday with, or you're not gonna be able to do business with people. Actually, older men will do business with you because they every man like that. That's why we travel. We come to America, you see certain things you don't normally see in the daytime. Back home, you see, that. So it's not about a character, but it's how thinking about the new generation. What are we leaving them with?
absolutely. I think that's a very powerful point because there's almost a separation between what's appropriate in the daytime and what's appropriate at night. And I think that's something that we could actually learn from because, for example, in the West, anything goes at any time, day or night. And so I actually find it very like interesting and not so bad, I would say that, hey, maybe there's an appropriate attire for daytime versus nighttime. And so that's something that women can definitely expect if they go to Tanzania. You also mentioned something very interesting about staring and how the Tanzanians will stare at people. And you said that this came from the regime of Idi Amin, where he, I suppose, sent soldiers into Tanzania or there was some sort of
Yeah,
war. And
right.
so Tanzanians are taught to stare at people, look them deeply in the eyes in order to determine if they are an enemy or if they are friendly. Did I get that right?
Yes, yes. There was a time where Kenyans say every Tanzanian is a spy. Just the way we act, the way we are, But most of the time, it's in a good way. Try to find out, are you good with us, or you because economically you might dress shabby or normal like locals, but your
Mm,
skin is different because you come from a different continent where weather is different. So your skin, before you even start speaking, the way you walk, the way your skin looks, your hairstyle, or whatever lotion you use, it's gonna make you stand out.
mm,
So yeah, things like those. So we look and we know, this he's not from here. So we don't cut off because it's not it's okay, and we think you can look us back too. But then after we look at each other eye, what's next? So for a stranger most of the time, because when you come over them, you look like economically you are above, and this isn't everywhere. People who are economically under, they always be inferior. They have that fear. Can I start waving at him, or should I wait? So we have that. We might stare without showing any emotions. So most of the time, for a stranger or a guest in Tanzania, just wave. Just give a simple wave, and you will see the changes. The will create smiles and hey, mambo, unatoka wapi means where are you from? Things and we talk. We like to talk with strangers. We love strangers. Yeah.
That's great. Well, we have a question. Actually, I'm seeing some comments. Someone said Tanzania is on the right track. Love your president. Don Lee has a question. She says, how do you pronounce Tanzania or Tanzania? I hear people pronouncing it different ways. That's a great question, Don. I actually was curious about that too because I hear it pronounced several different ways.
Tanzania.
Tanzania.
Tanzania, yes.
There you go, Don. All right, so Eric, can you continue with some of the other points that you wanted to address?
So the other point is violence toward women. They mentioned that, and that they defended that point from another African guy, I think either Tanzanian or someone else who said, okay, you saw that in Tanzania a man beat a woman, but it's not as bad as America where black women get killed. They defended that, and that is okay. But we have to remember one thing. It's called like it's action reaction. Like when you say something that is towards somebody or different culture or different nation, expect people from those nations also to put a comparison. Like, hey, this is what we see over there. Please don't make us look that bad. That's one person beat his woman. And most of the time, I was about to say about pickpocket and even women. When someone beat a woman in public, if that woman is not his wife, if the woman is not his child, is not his sister, a mob will come at them. And at that moment, police takes a long time to get to you. So you get hurt. So whatever happened to that club that they saw, it was not good, that for once, but we really don't know because I think even the laws here in America, they treat domestic violence with other violence completely different because they understand these people live together. So you never know what inspired. There's always a chance of having conflict. It's different when somebody go beat up somebody else. If that DJ beat somebody else that he did not know, that night could never end well. It doesn't matter if the woman had family friend member over there or just people. If he goes outside the club and say the DJ beat me, I don't even know him, that could have been a different scenario. So that's how Tanzania, we call them street policing. Anyway, so
okay, so let's stop there.
Yeah.
So if you all recall, the Dickinson shared a very harrowing story about a woman that was physically beaten by a DJ in public in Tanzania, and no one went to help the woman. So it appears that violence towards women in Tanzania may be more of the norm. But what Eric is saying, he's saying it's not, but he's saying that if a man is seen beating a woman in public in Tanzania, that she must be his wife or related to him. Is that correct, Eric? I believe that's what you said.
Yes. You have to be someone that nobody else can interfere. Hey, this is my wife. Step away. This is my child. Step away. Then everybody will listen. So think of those.
So then is it fair to say that beating women is an acceptable practice in Tanzania? Because, okay, well, hear me out. Mm-hmm. What you're saying is that if you're in public in Tanzania and a man is beating a woman and it is presumed she's his wife, she's related, no one will step in.
First, let me explain. Yes, let me answer that. Yes, but also it's very rare. We have to be real. It's very rare. Even family conflicts in Tanzania, you don't see family arguing outside. If you, and I'm so glad that a lot of experts who are already there, they even say we never seen even a single brawl, and I've been here for 2 years that they don't even see people fighting. Families will argue inside their houses most of the time. So when it comes to clubs like that, it has to be somebody they were dating or they're just newlyweds. They don't have a family yet, because this is the point here. Once they have a family, it's very rare for both parents to be out and about without having someone take care of the kids. So most of the time it's a man going out. It's too bad. Most men go out more than women. But if it happens, new generation, men and women going out who are married, they don't have kids yet, and if they do, there's a family member taking care of them. So in that case, if they came to the club and a woman act a certain way, maybe with other men, which a man would definitely get jealous, or too drunk, she is embarrassing the man that she came with, or who must be a husband or boyfriend, for him to beat him in public and people just look. So those people were known, maybe their relationship is even known in that club. There's people you see the fighting, say, we're used to them, so it had to be that kind of a scenario. I don't see a Tanzanian man going to the club and start beating up women. They're not going to get anywhere. They'll get out of there with their broken ribs or anything, something like that.
Very interesting. Well, in the chat, let me know what you think about that, because that's a very interesting dichotomy, which is that in Tanzania, if you are presumed to be the wife or you're presumed to be related, people will not step in to assist you. So that is something that's interesting. Eric, please continue.
Yeah, and so that is violence toward women, and I want it to be understood when they defended the person who said back in America, women are being killed. That's a situation here which is really bad, more than being beaten, but they're all bad. So I kind of agree with them, but also they should not resist. Oh, not just them. Anybody who bring out something about one culture, they have to expect a response that, hey, we see we have these our weaknesses, oh, this is our bad side, but in your country there's bad side too. So we have to learn how to communicate about our differences and how to make a community better. I see even where you're talking about people helping a wife beaten by a husband. It's very rare, but we should, according to how I see your feelings, men should be even that intervening and say, hey, don't do that. So those things we can learn. I'm learning this from your facial expression, like that women need help, right?
Yeah, well, I have to say, and I think I will say this for the chat,
Right.
because I do see some people saying things like, let me actually put some comments on the screen. Yeah, someone said, AKA, mind your own business. The same thing happens in America. Another person, in America, you don't just jump in every single domestic violence case you see. Stop acting like domestic violence doesn't happen in America. And so I just want to say, for the record, domestic violence is never okay. It's never okay to put your hands on a woman. And I don't care if you're in Africa or if you're in America. And so the fact that this is something that, may be condoned if someone is the wife or related, that doesn't make it okay. And so I just want to be very clear that I do not support domestic violence in any way, shape, or form. And if you are a man who supports domestic violence, I would be very weary of having you on my page, because that's very concerning to me. So let's just be clear, hitting women is not okay.
Not okay. Yeah, that people should learn, and I want them to understand this everywhere around the world. Wherever you go, people treat each other in a family differently. Too bad it's mostly women inferior, but there's some tribes that women are superior. I think we'll get into that. I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
Yeah. And politics. So politics, I wanted this directly to them, because everybody else that I've seen, reparts and expats, they love Tanzanian politics. They love our president, and I have to say we've had great presidents since day one. We got our freedom. So when people compare politics of one country to another, and this should be even on the economy too, that you should compare like this. America is 350 or 450 years old. Tanzania is only 60 years old. 60 years old. So we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
When you come from America coming to Tanzania, don't expect everything to be 350, 450 years old. You're going to find a very young child, as far as countries ages go.
Yeah.
6 years old is very young. So we have a long way to go to make it perfect. And we expect all the guests to say what is bad, but also to say as well in the same level or even more, just to give a support for our growth, the positive things, why people should come to Tanzania and help it grow. That's my point there. When it comes to politics, the people and economy too, you should think about the age of the country. And then this I have to insist. I already answered. I already explained, but directed to them when he went to Zanzibar and saw what he saw on the day of the election. So now we're in election here. So he can compare what was happening there and what is happening here. I don't want to go in deep, but there's always a little chaos here and there. Did somebody die? No. There was people against the president. Yes. And are they majority? No. According to the voting system that we believe, they lost. So having chaos, it was there a little bit. It was calmed down by the police. Nobody died, and you can see our police don't carry guns; they carry sticks. It's very old school, 60 years old. Just remember, American was 60 years old. Sticks, cops have,
Yeah.
So things
Yeah.
like those. So I wanted to tell them and everybody who's listening, if they listen to that part and think, because right now we are taking a lot of heat, and that's because of CV-19, because that country refused. So there's a bad labels that we're getting because of that. That hey, we don't have this. People don't believe. Oh, it is true or not. Our president say everybody keep going. Life gotta go on. If we stop, our economy is gonna, you know, is gonna go the way down. We're not gonna be able to come up. So I want everybody to understand that Tanzania we're going through a lot of heat right now, and negativity is not going to help us. It's not going to help us. We understand what they saw was maybe was not good. Seeing it up close in a different country where you don't know how your safety is going to be. Like there's no uncle you can call that can come and pick you up and get you out of there. So I can understand their fear in case things got worse, but it's not that big. That's what I wanted to say. It's not that big. Zanzibar is very small, and I'll give you an example the other day. Even if all Zanzibarians vote for a different party, the mainland is like 4 times bigger than Zanzibar. So whatever image they saw, I believe them because that's what they saw. They saw maybe 300-400 people on the road dancing and screaming. That's a lot to see them at one time coming by. So you might think like the whole country. That's why they sounded like the whole country was complaining. And trip preparations is like whenever you go, you have to be prepared. You have to know where you're going in advance, the people, the culture, the infrastructure, to avoid, I'm sorry to mention this, to avoid the situation where you go where you don't know and you never met your host, and your host is giving you confidence that everything is good, and find yourself in a position like the Dinkinson find themselves. There was the moment I see them, the brother, I don't know what's his name, I forgot, killing a chicken. If you come into America, if you do not go to that life intentionally to do a research how lower life people live, that is scary even to us. I killed a chicken once and I will never do it again. I'm too empathetic. I'd rather eat it after, but chicken that you kill now and then and you eat it, it's fresh, it's really good. That happens with the fish too, get fresh meat. So that's nothing to be brag about. So to know where you're going in the culture of the people and the way they live in advance is really good. I think they were not prepared for that. And the Tanzanian culture, yes, we have good music, we have good dance, we are very peaceful people. And to give a shout out to Tanzania, this is I think the whole world should learn this. We are very poor comparing to other Western countries. But all refugees, all countries around us fight every day. We don't. The very peaceful country. The only one we ever fought was with Uganda to take out Idi Amin, who was trying to take Tanzania as his own country. That's the only time, 1978, and that's it. But we, if people remember, Rwanda and Burundi fought for over 20 years. Congo, Zimbabwe, and all that. So we have refugees from everywhere. Even how poor we are, the borders were always open. There still are until today for refugees to come. And the only way our former president, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, did was this amazing thing that I don't think any country is doing. Like bring Burundi and Rwanda are fighting, people are running. From Burundi and people from Rwanda are running there, all coming to Tanzania. Nyerere put them in the same camp and teach them how to live together. You see, and we were able, all Tanzanian and Burundian and Rwandans who in their own country fought for 20 years to make them be able to live as one. So we kind of create peace. And with that, our language became a lot popular. more than, because it became like a safe haven for all African countries that are going through chaos. And that unity we have is what gave us the single language in a country where we have about 130 to 150 tribes. That is different languages, not dialects. Language, like you go from one district to another, people are speaking completely different language.
Right.
So when we got our freedom, president realized, the former president who gave us freedom from the colonies, say we cannot go anywhere if we speak different languages like this. So he chose, and not he chose not he did not choose his tribe. He just do a research and find out which tribe has more people. That's Swahili at that time, but which is Swahili now, and say that is going to be a national language because we're going to have more teachers going out there teaching that language. Now that's where I said dictatorship is good sometimes. It was mandatory. 5 years, everybody above 6 years old be speaking Swahili. It was a nightmare for our dad to learn Swahili. People hated him. But those 5 years, it came to that point, really, people can travel, go to another tribe and ask for water. This, like with the same language, it became so amazing. Now the popularity started growing. And that was 1963. By 1970, Malcolm X came and met Nyerere. And people, they don't know this, Malcolm X took Swahili from Tanzania, brought it to America. And that's what is used for Kwanzaa celebrations. That is Swahili. Nguzo Saba. That's Nguzo Saba za Maendeleo. 7 principles of development. Just imagine someone from America came and got the 7 principles of development from Tanzania.
Wow, I actually did not know that Malcolm X brought that from Tanzania, because it has been commonly taught, I believe his name is Baraka or something to that effect, that he brought it. So you just actually taught me something new. I didn't know that Malcolm X brought that. That's amazing.
So when it comes to history, maybe we don't know that part, who came first. So if the Baraka history was before, because there was people speaking Swahili going all over the world. So, but the one who made it popular in America was Malcolm X. When he came to these people, they're very poor, but very friendly to each other. They have no conflict, and getting the history that these people are coming from different tribes, different religion, different, and they're living together as one. So he thought that language is magical. That's why and brought it here. And I'm so proud today it's used nationwide as a celebration. So those Nguzo Sabas, which 7 steps with principles, are always recited in Swahili. So that's the language. And now the language is becoming almost the all African continent national language. And we already have free trade and all that. So the main language that's going to be used is Swahili. So and that came from my country. So that's how proud I am. And everybody should at least look at the positive things we're doing. If you come over there and look at the economy, you're not going to get the economy found in America, but there's some towns there. There's some bungalows over there. There's some high rises over there. Not as good as in America, but if you need the life that you live in America for cheap, for even like 7% of the price, you go to countries like those. Not only Tanzania, most of African countries, except West Africa, of course. West Africa, America is so close there. So the price over there in Ghana, Nigeria, know that it's a little still high. Go west. Go east. East cheap. Like over here, like in New York, let's say a good example. When I went to New York, I lived in a room for about 9 months. That room was literally, you open the door, it hit your bed. And I was paying $700 a month. $700 a month, it can give you a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, and with the backyard and on all that in Tanzania. Listen to reports. They'll tell you for $250 they get a 3-bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So things like those, we should look when we talk about somebody or someone else who's not from our culture. We should look the good and the bad. So there's bad things, yes, but there's also good things. That video seemed like he went to the bad. I cannot go back there. That even if they don't say it loud, but it's like it's not a place to go. That is the point that I wanted to mention, and that bring me to the point of black on black crimes. So black on black crimes, this is about the race itself. I would like people to understand that we people as black people, we can go anywhere. Like if you go to Brazil, the people who's gonna rob you are black people because economy push them to be like that. So you don't have to take it personal that, oh, my own kind is robbing me. I came from a place where, other kind is hating me, but now I'm coming to this place. My own kind is doing this to me. Those people are there. Those people are there. Like I wanted to give you a very good example. I moved from New York. I lived in New York for about 10 years, and that's where I'm supposed to be today.
Mhm.
But I was robbed by a brother. I can't say how much right now. I wanted to send her the police report so she can confirm. She said, "No, don't worry, I trust you." That means she could have shared with you. So without that, I don't have to say how much, but it was a lot comparing to where I'm from. If that money was in Tanzania and that person was conning tourists, and he was not a racist, he was conning everybody. That's equal opportunity. Like everybody, black, as long as he sees that he can benefit or get something from you, he does. So he found me at a very vulnerable situation. He took that opportunity. He didn't think that this guy is black. That's why I'm doing this. Or he think this foreign. He just saw me I was a foreigner by the way I was treating my money at Western Union. Western Union.
Mm.
He robbed me, and because of his background with the police, I was warned that his gang it might come out of you. Are you okay? And all that to go and pursue. The money was allowed to me, and he brought me back way back. I said, "Now I'm gonna take him to court. It doesn't matter his history. I don't have family here." So I did that not because I could have let him go because he was my own kind. He's gonna keep doing all that to other kind, and other kind, and we all look bad. Let's say he's doing just to white people or just Indians. Do you know we all black people look bad to all those people? And that's not our intentions. We have to protect our own by correcting ourselves, take the bad apple and put them to the side so we can look good and fight for what is important for everybody. So I left New York because I had to stand in court. After I stood in court, the warning kept coming from the prosecutor say for 7 years none of victims ever stood in court because of his history and his gang. So you
Mm.
standing in court, you're losing everything. We will advise you to get out of town. Would you? Can you do that? That means they wanted to put him in court, but also they also, how prosecutors won't put somebody in jail, but
Mhm.
also they're happy they got me. I want to stand there, but also they told me my own side. What about you? We know this guy. We'd rather let him go that without a witness, knowing your life is okay. I said I don't have a family here. I'm gonna get out of New York, but I'm gonna make sure this guy is going to jail. He
Mm.
went and I had so many art projects. I'm a performing artist, so I had so many projects for people who are on my Facebook. They can see my projects there. In my YouTube, I don't have active YouTube channel. I use that as a documentary. I save there. So for people who watch, they watch. Who don't, I know in the future I'm gonna need them. I don't promote anything. So you can see the projects I've done in New York and how big it was becoming. I had to leave it behind.
Mm.
But I never posted that. This is my main point. I never shared it on Facebook. I never shared it on Instagram. I never shared it with my Tanzanian people. I never shared it with my people in the neighborhood in New York. They knew just I realized I'm living. But what I was trying to avoid is the publicity that is going to come out there that look black on black crimes. And I don't want to add that into our people. I said, this happened to me and I'm going to handle it myself and I don't have to gaslight other people to come against us. Oh, my people in Tanzania, especially now, it's like, I'm so glad I did not do that. People would think, oh, African Americans are bad to Africans. I don't want that because there's a lot of black Americans, African Americans, black people help me in New York. They help me get myself together. They help me getting connected. So one person cannot change all of that. So I
Mm.
want us to understand wherever you go, you might be a victim of a crime from a different race, but if it happens to one of your own, don't be so sad. It hurts, it's true that when one of your own does you bad, but we should not generalize. We should try to heal. And healing is like taking out the pimples and blow it out, clean it up, is out. And you continue.
Wow. That is an incredible story. And just to recap, so Eric was new to the United States of America, and he was robbed and tricked by a Black American male into basically into taking his money. And I don't know if you're comfortable sharing, but you did mention to me that he pretended to be a certain profession. Do you
He
mind talking about that? Because
to be
this
an
really
undercover,
blew me away when I heard it.
pretended to be an undercover officer and wanted to come and search my hotel room. And at that time, without going into details, being a police officer, to me as a foreigner, I didn't know about the rights. Show me your ID, show this, because all that is not in me. I've already trained myself. One of those things that you should respect the law. Doesn't matter how wrong or right it is. For me as a foreigner, just like in the politics, like when you go to another country, you gotta respect the law and ways of life. So I did not question him much because of how big he was. Because for people who knows Africans, we're short, and most of us, it's like they took all the big guys, they brought them over here, and leave the most of these small ones. I'm 5'3". This guy was like 6'7", 6'8" up there, you know, you know. So I was so small to him, and for me even to argue. So I believed him. I never met that confident person come to you. They always say, "Give me what you have." But this guy came as a con artist, talked to me, and tried to know me, and introduced himself as a undercover police officers. Um, they are looking for money laundering operations in New York, and they saw me handling money at the Western Union, so they want to know how I got my money and all that and all that. After he heard my accent through talking, and say, "Where are you from?" I say, "From Tanzania, East Africa." "Oh, that's pretty nice. That's the motherland. I've never been there." So he was friendly, and he said, "Where are you right now?" I said, "Okay, you from the motherland, but I have to do my job. Where is your ID?"
Hmm.
And at that time, because it's not a secret, I don't have any history here. I can tell you guys, my passport was expired. Can you imagine being in somebody else's country and your passport is expired? I got a new one, by the way, right now, so don't. I got a renewed, you know. So you can imagine how much fear I had, and I was thankful. I'm thankful it's a black guy, because if it was a white police over here, it could. So I'm afraid, but still I'm thankful at the same time, but not realizing I wish it was someone else, and it was real, but someone else. So he said, "Okay, where's your passport?" So I wanted, to tell him that it's expired, but hey, and since it was expired, it was in my hotel room. Where do you live? It was right there, like 4 blocks away on 42nd Street.
Hmm.
Went and I allow him to search the room, because I know if he's a police officer, the money that I have, I can show him how I got it. Actually, I had gotten paid the money for the project I did. It was Sunday that day on Saturday. So I could show him all the transaction in the show through video and all that. I could have showed him how I got the money.
Hmm.
So I was not worried. He ransacked my room to the point he came and found the money.
Hmm.
$4,900. I
Wow.
didn't say it at first, but there it is,
Wow.
$4,900. So
So
you can find out.
yeah, for everyone out there listening, I just ask you to think and put yourself in this man's shoes. He's in a totally new country. He's approached by someone who looks like him. So he feels a sense of relief. And this person tells him that he's an undercover police officer. He's investigating money laundering. He needs to know how he got his money. He goes back to his hotel room, ransacks it, and takes his money. And not only did he do that to this gentleman, but he had done that to many people that had come from other countries. And most of them never had their day in court because they would often either be going back to their country or they might be in fear. And so I just ask that we try to understand when we do come across our continental brothers and sisters. They are in a vulnerable position and they may be suspicious because of these things that have happened. And Eric is saying that he refused to tell people that he had been robbed by a Black American man because he did not want to bring bad publicity to Black Americans. And Eric, I just think that's so incredible because he was really wanting to show unity and to show pride. And so he would not even tell the people back home that someone who looked like him had robbed him.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, and that's what I wanted to come back to them, that bad people happen to everybody, especially if you're traveling to a different country. Hold your purse clearly, make sure you are aware of your surrounding. I think even America, when you're in different states over here, you do that. Hey, if you're coming from this state, you're going to that state, you should be aware of this and that and that and that and that. So it's the same when you go to Africa, you go to Brazil, you go everywhere. There's people like us who can do us harm, but it's not the majority. So we should not judge that, because he mentioned that he could not believe that his own kind did him that. Until today, there is people who reparts or expats who are already there. They have bad things happen with the police. My government will have to forgive me. Yes, police are corrupt. Okay. Where is not corrupt? Which country is not corrupt? I mean, there's different kind of corruptions. Okay, let's say Tanzanian police stop you. Did I ever given money to the police? Get out of here to save me time, because he's not. If it's a crime that he cannot, because remember, Tanzania is very poor. It's very poor. So there is certain court cases and all that. They don't stand as much. I mean, it's a waste of court time. So, and not only court time, you might go to court and be charged a fine maybe 3 times bigger than what the cops is asking for. We have to understand that. So you kind of say saving time and the record. I don't know if we have a record that goes so far like America. Of course, I don't know about how they document their records. Over here, you're worried about your records and all that. But over there, for a cop to ask you 20 shillings or 30 Tanzanian shillings, which is like $1.50 American, it's not good. But what can you do? It's there. Okay, so now people say in America, police is no good. Maybe not that many corruptions, which in the drug dealing business that we hear there is. I cannot confirm that, but there's bad things happen here to people by the police more than happen in Tanzania. Just like what I say, in Tanzania, police don't have any guns. So when they're bargaining with you to give them some money, at least you're sure, 100% sure that you're safe. They're not going to harm you. And if you don't give them, really, they might give you a hassle, but it might not go that far. Especially if you're a foreigner, he's not going to take you anywhere. I mean, if you have time to argue to the end. If you have somebody to call who's a Tanzanian, call them, bring them there. If you don't want to give police money just because out of outright being righteous, that is the wrong thing, don't be afraid to say, hey, take me to court and see where it's going to go.
Got it.
It's not going to happen. That's something reports need to learn, or experts need to learn, that these police, they're just scaring you at that moment. But if you're driving, if it's a traffic violation, you might go to court and pay fine, which of course is going to be bigger more than the ones that you're going to give the police. Or if it's your driver is doing, because most of the time it happens when they're being driven by a driver going somewhere and the police realize, oh, that passenger is a foreigner. They will stop them to, So most of the time, the person who should be scared the most is the driver, because the driver can encounter with them every day on the road. So most of the driver that is going to give them something. And if it happens, please don't feel bad. That's the lifestyle we have. Our police are very poor. I don't say I support it, but that I cannot heal it from the distance. After living in the United States for so long, I can teach people how to protect themselves. Hey, we're over here, I don't live in Tanzania, but I'm trying to ship them a lot. Whether it's glasses with a camera, the glasses with a camera, the person. I'm doing that, give him money. But being on the record, believe me, Magufuli does not play. He'll fire the person instantly.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me stop you there. We're going to take a quick intermission because we're coming up on an hour and 4 minutes. So we're going to wrap up here. Time has just gone so fast, Eric. We're going to wrap up shortly. But I do want to say first, make sure you hit the like button. Eric has chosen to come on this evening to share his knowledge. So please let's show him some appreciation by hitting the like button. And then there was one thing I wanted to pull out before we share the last portion, and is that you said they took the strong ones and they sent them to America, and they left the short ones here. And I thought that was powerful. But first, let me shout out a super chat. It is from Travi P. He is a VIP member. Travi, it's so good to see you. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining this evening. And Travi P says, it's sad that there are people out here taking advantage of those in need. Corruption at its grimiest. I salute the brother for sharing his story. Wow, Eric, do you mind responding to what Travi P has said in his comment?
Thank you for understanding that part, because not that many people really look on the both side of the story. Just like I said, there are bad people everywhere and who take advantage of those in need, just like what he says. And grimiest, can somebody tell me what grimiest means? Because I'm still learning English.
Grimiest?
Corruption at its grimiest.
Oh, sorry. Corruption at its grimiest.
Grimiest.
So grimiest. And
Right.
grimy typically means dirty, bad, disgusting. So it would be corruption at its dirtiest, corruption at its lowest.
Right. Right. And to finish that, not all police are like that. So I don't know how much time we have. I can summarize a few things and then we can finish that. Is that cool?
That sounds great. Thank you so much again for your comment and your super chat, Travi P. It's much appreciated. And if you want to be like Travi P, definitely show some love with a super chat, no matter how big or small. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. So first is to you. It was really good for you responding to me. Remember, I said I tried to get a hold of a lot, if not 8, 10, 11 expats who are already in Tanzania, try to say, hey, I can help even from the distance. Because the reason I'm trying to say this, I want people to believe it. It's not I want people to believe it, because that's the reality. I'm a boxer who was teaching boxing in Tanzania. So one of my students is very successful over there and have a security company out there, and he's ready to help. His people are well-trained, martial artists, and give him a call when you get in trouble. They'll be there. This is not a marketing thing or anything, but if somebody really need help, escort that is really buffed or really knows what they're thing into protecting people, I have those people. And the second and the last is I have land people. I have connection to land. And reparts and expats who want, I can give acres a piece, as long as there's a promise that acre to be put in motion within 3 months, even if it's just cleaning and all that. The land is there. How much is literally free, with one catch, is my people work for you to develop the land. And the reason is some people are misusing the land over there. And another thing, both of us, you getting the land and me, my people, to work for you, create jobs. So you coming over there, and that's a good thing. I have to give props to the reparts and expats. Most of them, when they go over there for the goal to create jobs to the locals. So let's work together. I'm here in America, and I have the money that you can buy 1 acre over there. I really don't need it, but by giving our people jobs, that will give me something. And the village growing of reparts and expats out there in one place, it would be really nice for the locals. They can learn the culture, they can learn the language, they can learn. Let's say they love hip hop down there. I can imagine having a hip hop after school programs or things like those. So for anybody who really think we can work together on that, 1 acre for anybody who really have the funds to start developing the land within 3 months, doesn't matter how slow after that, they can contact a DJ.
Well, actually, let me put a disclaimer. So
Yeah.
Eric and I discussed this before he came on. So he's definitely free to plug his business and his connections. However, I personally cannot vouch for
Right.
anything that he's saying.
Yeah.
So if you do contact Eric, that is totally on you two. I cannot vouch for anything. I don't know anything about his land over there, but if you want to connect with him and do your research, that is totally fine. But I'm just going,
Actually, the
wait,
name
wait, excuse me, wait, Eric, excuse
I'm
me.
sorry.
So, just so that we're clear, I am not liable or responsible for anything that Eric is sharing as far as like his endeavors or his businesses. If you want to get in contact with Eric, he's going to leave his contact information. But again, I am not responsible for anything that goes on with that. I am not involved with that. But of course, being on the platform, he's able to share his business. So I just want to be 100% clear on that. Right, Eric?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. You told me before, but I wanted to start that way. And then you put in a disclaimer. And the name that you see over there on the screen, that's my name on Facebook.
Yes.
Is exactly that. Capital O, apostrophe, capital N, Kosi, Eric Fungo with K. Remember, Erick, Fungo. Find me there. And if you know anybody who's coming to Tanzania, need some kind of help, escort over there, and you don't have the local over there, because some people get you there. Oh, I wanted to say this. People need to also search a sister who's already there for about 4 years. She has a lot of information, more than what I can give, because I have my own business too. But she's in Tanzania and she does that professionally. Oh, she does that, like giving instructions to reparts who are on the way and how to be there to find the locals who can speak Swahili, can translate and all that. So they're there. If you find sister is called uh, traveling sister. If I can I Google that name real quick? No, traveling sister. People can remember traveling sister. That's the person you can look for. But if you cannot find her and you want more information about Tanzania connections and people there, please get in touch with me on Facebook. And that's the easiest one I can say.
Okay, awesome. And so you can see his name on the screen. And so if you want to get in contact with Eric, you would just type that name into the Facebook engine, and then they should be able to contact you that way, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So was there anything else about your businesses that you wanted to share before we wrap up? Because I wanted to dive into one more thing, but I wanted to make sure you had finished on that point.
I don't call it as a business right now because I've never done this before, but I know I have a land so big I cannot just stay here, which is 3 hours from Dar es Salaam. So for people who want to just farm and live in the city, Dar es Salaam, they can do that. For people who are trying to stay away from the city, that's a huge land just to build your own bungalow and live free like a bird, you know. And other than that, and this is what I want to say to even the Dinkinson family too. If they will ever have a change of heart, I'm not excluding them. I thought, thank you for giving me this opportunity to educate all of us. Maybe they learned about this and they realized where they went wrong, because whatever they met in Tanzania, I met them here too. The same situations, but the way we react to them is just different.
Wow, powerful point. And on that note, we're going to enter our last section. And I wanted to really expound on what you mentioned, Eric, about how the strongest Black people were taken from Africa. And I think that's something that is sometimes lost on Black Americans, which is that the Black Americans that you see today are a socially engineered group. And I know that sounds like a really, really long, boring phrase, but it's incredibly important to understand that Black Americans were number one, taken from countries in Africa based on physical attributes. So this wasn't just like come one, come all. Black Americans, or the group that are now known as Black Americans, originally Africans, were taken and bred. The process of breeding occurred between very specific groups to create the tallest, the strongest, and the fastest. So it is not a coincidence that you have LeBron James, who's 6'6" tall. It's not a coincidence that you have Michael Jordan, who can dunk a basketball and stay suspended in the air. This is actual breeding. And so, Eric, you mentioned to me when we spoke about the slave trade in Tanzania, and then you just mentioned another powerful point about the tallest and the strongest being taken. Can you take the next 5 minutes to speak to that, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up?
Oh, and I remember why I had told you that. I was telling you how we felt when we see brothers from the West going from the West, meaning the United States and England, UK, going to West Africa the most. So we were feeling deep inside. The history tells us slavery literally started on coast of Africa. So it started by the Arabs in the in the coast of East Africa, and that's Zanzibar, Tanzania, and go all little bit Kenya, not as much. Yeah, Kenya, Mombasa. That was the very first. And how the Arabs used blacks was to carry at that time it was they were doing most of the ivory. Yes, to carry the ivory before slavery that we learn today. The slave trade it really started on ivory era. When the Arabs come to get ivory from the elephants in Tanzania, in East Africa, they used black people to carry those manually, and the ivory is always heavy. So 2, 3 people, one ivory, one horn, whatever. That's what you call ivory. So they do that. By doing that, they kind of realize how strong and how sustainable in different kind of weather. That's what they say. Oh, we can sell them this. That's how they started selling them to Europe, especially Portuguese. They invited next Portuguese. The Greeks came way later, but the German came also later. But the Arabs. So the Arabs introduced African slaves to the Portuguese. The Portuguese then they started buying from the Arabs and started selling them to Europe, other countries of Europe, like Brazil, and I think Portuguese are coming from Brazil, from Europe, like UK and America, I think. So American settlers at first they did not come to capture the very first slaves. They were sold. They bought them. And after a few years of realizing how good we are on the field, that being able to stay in the sun for so long, and the price of buying slaves, they wanted to get their own to cut the middleman. So they went and started getting their own, and coming to East Africa was too far. They went and get some from Nigeria, Ghana, Guinea, and all those West African countries which are closer to them. The reason I connected that story is I don't think African Americans and Africans in UK, Brazil, they should not eliminate East Africa because they don't learn it in their history. Because America consider Nigeria and Ghana West Africa because they went directly to get them from there. But the first slaves who were sold literally came from East Africa. So I want African Americans and blacks in the UK to really understand that part. Some of you maybe came from there. So as we come to Africa, let's go everywhere instead of just West Africa.
Wow. Wow. If you appreciate that knowledge that Eric just dropped, I need you to drop a fire emoji in the chat, because I am a history lover and he is speaking on something that is rarely taught. And I often say among my inner circle that we don't learn even half of what really took place in slavery in school. We just don't. We learn a very abridged version. And so what Eric has just brought to the forefront is the fact that the slave trade did start in East Africa. And you won't often learn that because when the British got in on it and the French got in on it and so many other groups, and they cut out the middlemen. The middlemen were the Arabs, correct, Eric?
Yes.
They were the Arabs. But finally they said, well, we don't want to continue paying these high prices. We're going to go and get it ourselves. But East Africa was too far in the interior, and so they focused on the western coast of Africa. But many of those slaves had come from the east. And so, as Eric is saying, your history as a Black American is not just Nigeria, it's not just Ghana, it's not just Benin. Our roots stretch across the entire continent. So that is absolutely powerful. Wow. On that note, I'm going to say thank you so much, Eric. This conversation has been so enlightening. And yeah, would you like to say goodbye to the people?
Kwaheri, that's goodbye.
How do you say I want to learn? Can you pronounce it in syllables for me?
Kwaheri.
Kwaheri.
Right.
Okay, and that's goodbye in Swahili.
Goodbye is the best wishes, yes. Best
okay.
wishes.
All right, well, kwaheri, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. And you can just exit. Do you see that? There you go. Wow. Well, that is our show this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will stay on for a few minutes. Tell me what you thought. I think Eric really brought a lot of powerful points to the forefront, especially about the history aspect of slavery. And I actually learned something new. So I'm going to go through the comments. What was your favorite part of the discussion, and what's something that you learned? So let me catch up on some comments. And if anyone wants to come on the panel to give a live reaction, of course, just let me know. I will drop the link. But yes, I just want to chat with you all for a few minutes. It's so good to see everyone. I miss you. Let's see. Oh, we've got some fire emojis. So some folks definitely enjoyed it. Someone says Jerejev, which I know is from our Gambian folks. Yeah, so what did you think of what Eric had to share? I thought it was very fascinating, his points about the staring. So that's something that you can definitely expect when you go to a place like Tanzania. They're going to stare at you to determine whether you are friend or foe, whether you are an enemy or an ally. And they have been trained to do that. All right, so I am looking through the comments. Hi, everyone. What is going on out there? Oh, it's so good to see everyone. Hi. Okay. I heard of this before. Awesome. That's really good. I think that as the technology age continues, we're going to start hearing more and more of the stories coming out. And I, for one, I completely support that. And I just absolutely find it so fascinating when we talk about the genetic engineering, the breeding of specific groups of Black people from the continent and bringing them to the West in order to get the fastest, the biggest, the strongest. There's a reason for that, and we're going to get more into that as we continue educational series. So is there anything else before we wrap up? Anything else in the chat that we should talk about before I let you all go? It's Friday night, so what's going on, people? You all, my chat is going super slow. Like, I literally see one comment every 10 minutes. All right, let's see. She's on YouTube. Okay, got it. Where is everyone? So I see all the people in the chat. I see the numbers, but I don't see comments. What's going on? Where is everyone? Talk to me. But Dembo says, hello, DJ. Hello. Give me a smile. There's one. Yeah, so any thoughts on what Eric shared? Folks are pretty quiet on what Eric had to say. So I assume that means that everyone is deep in thought or just agreed with him very much. So for the folks that are asking about some of the things that he shared in reference to land, I am not a connector in that. I don't get involved in that. He left his information. If you want to follow up with him, that's between you and him. As I said earlier, I cannot vouch for anything that he shared in regards to that. I am not endorsing it, and I am not responsible for anything that occurs as a result. So if you do want to get in contact with him about anything that he shared, you'll have to do that legwork on your own. DJ is not responsible. Arrogance correct because I think it means Eric. Eric is correct because my DNA said I'm east, west, and north. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the important part to remember is that Black Americans are most typically not just West African. That was just the last stop during the slave trade. And as you heard from Eric, once the Europeans decided to cut the middleman out, i.e. the Arabs and the Middle Eastern folks, once they cut them out, they started going to the west coast of Africa to get Africans because the East was too far deep into the interior. So you're talking about, would it be easier to go way into Tanzania, way into Rwanda, deep into the bushes, deep into those forest areas? Or would you rather go on the West Coast where you can snatch people far more easily? And so that's really what occurred. We want to know about your DNA. I do intend on sharing that in the future. I do know my maternal tribe, so I do intend on sharing that in the future. So you'll just have to stay tuned. DeMarco Davis says, hello, DJ. Hi, DeMarco. Thank you so much for the lovely compliment that you left on my photo earlier this week. And Fitz says, wow, your smile is just beautiful. Oh, thank you. I'm feeling all lovey tonight. Oh, so does anyone want to come on? Someone says DJ is Senegambian. Do I look that way? Does anyone want to come on tonight to just chat or say hello? Is there anything we should chat about? I miss you all. I haven't seen you all in a few days, so I just want a reason to be here with all of you. So is there anything we should discuss? Should I drop the link? Actually, let me just drop it and see if anyone is on. If you are, definitely feel free to come on and let's see what's happening tonight. What's going on in YouTube? I feel like I've been so busy this week that I don't, that I have to catch up on YouTube this weekend to find out what's been going on. Let's see. Okay. Badembo says, you look like a beautiful Gambian lady. Oh, thank you so much. And that's me on the screen. Is the chat going really slowly for you all too? I don't know. I've just been having so many issues with StreamYard lately. I have to keep refreshing. Let me try. Okay, let me try there. DJ, you do look like a cousin of mine. I will send you her picture via email, then you'll let me know what you think. Life is slow today. Yes, life is very slow. Okay, well, then I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up here. I really enjoyed seeing you all. I do believe I'm going to go live tomorrow. I want to start getting into some of the books I've been reading, and I hope to see some of you folks because I want to talk about this incredible book that I recently read, and I just have to talk about it with someone. So if you are a book lover, make sure you are subscribed so that you can be notified when I go live tomorrow or later this weekend to talk about this book. Ooh, we got another super chat. Yay. Shinner2000 says, keep up the great work. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I really want to make sure that on this channel, we are learning and we are engaging our minds and we are growing. Yes, we're going to have those weeks where we're going to be reporting a lot of the news. You know, that's my passion, but I am also an educator at heart. So you're going to be learning a lot on this channel. So thank you so much, Sinner. Thank you. Fitz says DJ must be Ethiopian. I'm not ready to tell. And then someone says every time the West, especially America, starts criticizing the president of a foreigner, it's because they couldn't get control of them or they said no to the Western world. Well, I will say this. Politics is it's a very difficult subject to tackle in any country, right? For example, if you look at what's happening in the West right now in the United States of America, the country is in a state of political upheaval, right? And this is a first world country by all measures. But right now, we literally have folks from the National Guard, God bless our soldiers, thank them for their service, that are sleeping on the floor of the Capitol because there is a domestic threat. So if politics are that complicated within America, imagine how complicated they are in countries like Tanzania, like Guinea, like Congo, Rwanda. And so I would just say that, especially for us as Americans, I think we have to be cautious of thinking that we know more about the situation than we do, because it's very complicated to understand. You heard what Eric said. Tanzanians will stare you down because there was a time during war when Idi Amin was trying to get rid of Tanzanians. And so they have learned to be on alert and stare at every person to determine, are you here to hurt me? Are you here to take me out? So when they stare at you, that is a part of their ingrained social conditioning. Okay. Fitz says, always enjoy your show. Aaron says, hi. Hi, Aaron. Welcome. Okay, so I'm going to log off, say good night to me. I will see you all for the book club session, and I will catch you later. So I'll stay on a moment for you to say good night in the chat. But good night, everyone.